Habari zenu. My name is Dr. Mokaya Maubi from Kitutu Chache South Constituency in Kisii County, Kenya. It's a very sad time to have to report to the public the issues that I have come across upon studying the report released by the Auditor General a few weeks ago. This concerns the period 2022-2023. That is indeed the period that the current office bearers took over office. Allow me to say that I do this knowing that I was in the past election as a candidate, but in issuing this report, it's because I have a duty of care. I have a duty to tell the public and inform them because I'm a trained accountant. I have worked both in the academia, private sector, and in the public sector, doing auditing and finance-related issues. Members of the public, I want to go down on record as an objective member of society. I know in the past I have been falsely attacked and abuses hurled at me simply because I have pointed out excesses of the current regime for the constituency. Nevertheless, I know that when you get to politics, Waswahili walisema kwamba maji ukiyavulia nguo sharti uyaoge. So I'm in politics knowing that criticism can come and it will go, but we have to tell the public that which we know and that which is true for them to make an informed decision in days to come. We are not going to sit back and watch our constituency go to the dogs. We are not going to relax while our people wanahadaiwa. It is not going to be business as usual. We are not going to keep calm when things are going astray. My people of Kitutu Chache constituency ni kubaya. Nawaambia ni kubaya. Mambo imeenda segemunege. Things are not working. I say this looking at the report before me. And I want to give a summary of the issues that I have come across. I say this knowing that I have not had the chance or the advantage of accessing the supporting schedules prepared by the constituency account manager, but I have seen the report. I am aware and fully informed that Article 229 of the Constitution, read together with the PFM Act of 2012, of course with various amendments done later, the CDF Act of 2015, and the Section 35 of the Public Audit Act of 2015 support audit of financial statements for the constituencies. And in this case, we are talking about Kitutu Chache South constituency. The report below, which I'm detailing, and I'll share the PDF document, is a report that I would personally release were I to be in office because I believe in public getting a fair share of what they deserve. I would expect the public to critique and bring to light what appears questionable in my report. At the end of the day, what we look for is accountability because we are dealing with public funds, our taxes. The issues are as hereunder. Number one, the Auditor General has issued a qualified opinion on the report. What does it mean by issuing a qualified report or opinion? A qualified opinion means that things are not okay. Either because in its explanations offered to the auditor, the members who were explaining that were opaque or ambiguous, and so the auditor could not understand some figures that were presented. Given that the year 2021-2022 was given a clean report, the former regime explained well to the auditor's satisfaction that things were well done. The only reason that the 2021-2022, that is for the past regime, was given a clean report is because to the auditor's satisfaction, things were well done. But why do we have a qualified opinion in 2022-23? The current office bearers must explain to the public why this had to happen. Number two, under expenditure. The current office bearers closed the year with amounts unspent to a tune of 44,541,016. Good people, we are a poor constituency by all standards. Why would money be returned to the treasury? Why would we not spend money? We have very many poor and needy cases, and we have very seriously impaired educational infrastructure in this constituency of ours. Why would we not spend money that has been allocated to us because of the needs presented? I do not understand this, and this is regrettable. Don't the current office bearers understand why they are in office? Indeed, I must dare say that even after spending a lot of money in preparing the strategic plan, which I'll mention later, still the things going on do not support the implementation of this particular strategic plan. Number 3, the Auditor General has identified that 450,000 shillings was spent in cash to buy furniture. Number 1, the purchase was not explained, and this was in breach of the PFM Act. In my view, such amounts should be surcharged to the current office bearers, and we recover to this or these funds, and if possible, open up investigations by the relevant authorities. And I'm talking about the EACC. Number 4, the audit reports have been fully signed by the current office bearers, and of course with the approval of who should be the patron. We have seen on social media the very office bearers tried to indicate that the report is inaccurate by the Auditor General. The Auditor General does not work on hearsay. I want to inform the public that what you see in the report is what has been verified. The fact that the current office bearers have signed off the report means that they are the authors of the report and nothing can absolve them from the report. So anything that has come to light must remain answerable by the current office bearers. Number 5, I want to inform the public that the constituency runs on an accounting period that runs from July to June, and it has been alleged by the current office bearers that they were not in office when some of the questionable projects and transactions were done. The report has been signed by them, and they dare deny that they did not do the report. They do not know what was happening. How dare you say that? The public should know this information. And the current office bearers must take responsibility for the irregularities in running the CDF office. They should not think about anything else, but the honorable thing to do is to resign from office. We are not going to laugh anymore. Number 6, bank balances. The Auditor General could not verify that the money was in the bank. Let me tell the public, there's what we call cash book and there's what we call the bank statement, and together we come up with what we call bank reconciliation statements that are being prepared by the office bearers. If the Auditor General was satisfied that everything was all right, actually this is the basis upon which the qualified opinion is issued. And it's very sad. A whole 44,541,016 or and 16 could not be verified as being available in the bank. Let me inform the public again that the Auditor General does what we call circularization, like bank confirmation. So it means upon writing these letters to the bank to confirm that the money is in the accounts, they did not get feedback or they got a different confirmation. Surely. And you tell us everything is okay and we keep quiet. Hapana. I feel that incompetence has reached unspecified levels, and this must not go on. I have seen in the report checks that were written and they became stale. Yani zikapita 6 months. And these particular checks were never banked. Why were they issued in the first place? Do we run mega projects that we do not, or we cannot be able to account for 6 million? 6,186,230. Why were the checks written? In my view, some of these checks are written as they figure out how to use them in inappropriate ways. But wakifika mwisho, then they go stale. I have not had the chance or opportunity to look at the schedules of these checks again and to verify whether at any given point in time, these checks were ever presented in the bank. These are conduits of corruption. There is no better word to describe unpresented or stale checks of this magnitude. If it was a check for 20,000, we can explain. The Auditor General says there are no receipts from receiving institutions. Checks are issued, CDF checks, bursary checks to schools or institutions of higher learning. These checks are not receipted at the receiving institutions. Why don't we receive receipts? These are schemes. In some of these schools, we have relatives there, and we have information that we are believing to be true, that this money gets to those schools. Some of it is truthfully used by the students who are there, but some of it is issued there through fictitious names of students who do not exist. And we will be going to the bottom of this to verify each and every beneficiary and to ensure that these funds have been properly utilized. But in the meantime, we have information that we believe to be true, that these funds get back through the back door. Not all of it, but most of it. And I dare say that sometimes some of these checks that are drawn, they are checks that are drawn after having talked to some individuals. So someone comes to you and tells you, I'm going to give you a check for 15,000, but tafadhali, give me back 7,000. So if you are in agreement, the check is issued. Good people, we cannot live this way. We have to be accountable about public money. Integrity. It is really a sad time. And the Auditor General puts this figure at 59,184,995 as having not properly been accounted for because there are no receipts issued by the receiving institutions. Sometimes people fail to issue receipts because they know that these monies are not fully being utilized as they should. This has not been accounted for properly. So guys came into office and all they saw is an avenue for misappropriation. We need to know every detail of expenditure that was made using this amount. It is public money and we demand full accountability. Put these figures and schedules in the public domain so that we're able to know what the money was spent on. Even if it was used to buy tissue paper or pens, let's see and know how much was spent. That is how to become accountable. That's how I would do it if I were given an opportunity to do it. Because it's public money, you have to do it. Accountability in public affairs is a must. And I want to remind the public that even being issued with a CDF bursary check is not a favor. It's a right, enshrined both in the law, and which is a good thing to do, even in the eyes of God, because it's our money. So this 44 million, the auditor cannot see how it was spent. The office bearers must provide the details. Again, number 10, we don't need to see block figures. We need itemization. Like if it's tea, let's know tea consumed 20,000. And we know which kind of tea. Whatever that money has been spent on, we must know. We have no apologies to make. So the office bearers must explain the makeup of various expenditure lines and this would follow for a few flagged ones by the Auditor General. And it shall apply indeed to every expenditure line. Failure to do this amounts to obstruction, which they have done to the Auditor General, which is in contravention of the law, and the effect of which we cannot overemphasize. Members of the public, I have seen an expenditure line called fuel and lubricants. Let me tell you, as an auditor and accountant trained for this job, if you see a figure that is rounded off, a figure of 700,000, it's a small amount, but we receive about 170 million. So 700,000 is really material. Ni pesa nyingi. So you say 700,000 to fuel and lubricants. Aje? Yani unataka kuniambia when you fuel the car or the CDF van, inafaa kutupea a figure of 10,000, a full tank. Doesn't it come to a figure like 13,722? So you want to tell me it's just 700,000? Wacha wizi. Stop it. We know these things. So, number 12, there is something called other operating expenses. We need a breakdown of this. 1,233,500. You can't just block a figure and say, call it other operating expenses. Nini, what was spent on this amount? There's something else very interesting called specialized material and services. CDF, to have a specialized material Come on, give us a break, guys. 1,180,000. And it's a flat figure. No. Hapana, yeah. Hospitality and supply services. Sasa hospitality ni kukaribisha watu. Wape chai, snacks, and things like those. Ama, water, and things like those. 1,150,000. Yani, in a constituency where we struggle to take our kids to school, you spend 1,150,000, a flat figure again. We should have our priorities right. We are not going to smile. We have kept quiet for 2 years observing. And this is for 1 year. And I want to remind the public that it takes probably about 2 years for you to know what happened 2 years ago. Good people, this cannot go on. No. Number 15, this is interesting for the public to know. Drawing a strategic plan cost us as a constituency 2 million shillings. I want to dare say, I know the person that was paid, I don't want to say the exact figure, but it was paid 100,000 to write this document, but look at how much came out. 2 million. Watu wangu. A strategic plan in a serious organization that makes hundreds of billions of shillings are the ones that spend 2 million on a strategic plan. Not a constituency that receives a paltry 770 million. No, we cannot allow this. And this has to be refunded. We are not merely issuing threats, but this money has to be refunded. You can't spend 2 million on a strategic plan that I can sit down and make within 2 days. If we are to be sincere and fair, the maximum amount to pay on a strategic plan is 300,000. Stop this. No. 2 million when we have our kids who are not going to school because of school fees, when we have schools that do not have laboratories, when we have schools that are not well done, even Abolition, whatever you call lavatories, but are pit latrines that are not well, that are not okay. Our kids are exposed to health hazards, but you're spending 2 million on a strategic plan. No. Number 16, I see a deficit. When you see a figure in brackets, 27,522,358, I don't know why. CDF is not allowed to overspend. I don't know where this figure came from, what it is for. Let the office explain. And just know that, for the record, because I'm an accountant, that government adopts cash basis, not accrual basis of accounting. Yani cash basis ni ile tu unalipa vile imekuja. I know, yes, we have pending bills, but they happen, but you cannot have a block figure and fail to explain it. Explain it tujue ni pending bills gani. Because the information I have is that the previous office bearers did not leave any pending bill. There's nothing that was left to be paid. Good people, our humility should not be mistaken for stupidity. No, you have to be accountable, and all these things you have to explain. I see payments made to the manager, Cooperative Bank, Kisii. I don't know what he was being paid for. 2,115,275. Another one, 1,749,429. Another 1,749,429. These payments are opaque. They must be explained. Failure to which we will take it like you guys stole money. Yeah. Number 18. We have done physical inspection ourselves. The Auditor General did their part. And a whole 12 million spent. 12.2 million. The projects have not been completed in time. They are substandard. The Auditor General has documented the same. Classes that are indicated as having been completed, they have paint that has been peeled off. They have floors that are not, looking presentable. They're already cracked. Why would you spend money and we have substandard works? Good people, you have to be serious. And we can use this report to recall the entire leadership from office. It's only that anyway. The only reason the projects would be substandard is having contractors pushed to deliver kickbacks and be left with very little to even complete projects. The projects are already marked complete, imagine, and the BQs show a very exorbitant costs, or they show very exorbitant costs, yet the classes are not complete. Number 19. The cash book, this is very serious, under bank reconciliations. The cash book doesn't agree with bank statement. There is no other better way to explain theft than this. I will not explain much. If the bank statement does not agree with what the books say, you have stolen. And we are not going to deal with public issues like that. No. Further notes that I have prepared. Questions that linger on behalf of the public. We have various projects that have been done, not in use. Nyatieko Police Line. Anybody to explain? 9 classrooms and an administration block for Nyanguru Secondary School. They are paying the report. Why are they not in use? Why is the school not operational? Why would we complete the school? What precedes the other? Is it registration by the ministry, or is it the building of classrooms? Don't we first agree? And you have signed the report, so you cannot blame a previous administration. And the funds are shown to have been paid in this particular financial year. Yet, we are told there were no pending bills. So again, things to explain. It's upon you to explain to the public. And we are here to just inform the public and carry out our civic responsibility. Number 3, I see classrooms for primary school at Nyanguru Primary that are indicated. They were done in 2021, 2022. When this current regime was not in office, but they go commissioning and they write their names. Who gave this idea to people who have had a chance to lead the constituency that they have to write their names all over? It is not your money that you're spending. So why enshrine your name in a classroom or on a classroom on the wall? Why? It's not your money, for heaven's sake. Tukisema hivi, people think ati tuko na emoko. We are not envious. We don't feel bad that you're in office. We just want to tell the public the truth. No. So when an ordinary member of the public sees this, they think, oh, under this leadership, we have this class done. No, this cannot go on. Good people, no. I have seen members of the, management team sign reports blindly. And there are a lot of copy-paste errors from the previous audit reports. Why would you, show us your ignorance? No. You're talking about COVID-19 and the reason why you did not do sports. There has even been an amendment to the act that shows that now you don't spend more money on sports, but on environmental matters, tree planting, which I'll talk about later again. Tree planting. Mark you, when you buy trees to plant, there are no receipts. So is it an avenue again to steal? We will not allow. We are watching. We are going to be more keen than we have been before. And we have to do this for the public because we love the public. I see people say they've adopted a full contract award method. For me, it's a sham. So that contracts are awarded to specific people. For me, there's a better accountability when the risks are spread across contractors. And I see people draw a lot of committee allowances by the project monitoring committee. What is their work? Because if you have contractors here and there, the committee is there to check them or to oversight them. The office bearer should be able to provide the breakdown of the costs of each project alleged to have been completed during the financial year in question. And going forward, for the members of the public to check with reality and market rates of doing such projects. I want to say this. We have even evidence. I have the pictures that we took. There's a class being constructed, at least near my home, right? So, here's the thing, guys. Our class has been done by the Ministry of Education, and it has costed us, or the ministry, 800,000. The same or less, a smaller class, is being done by the CDF good people at the value shown at the BQ of 1.5 million. What is the difference? The same class. And I dare say, if you doubt, go to Ebate Primary School and check. They have leaned on a wall. So they did a BQ for 1.5 million. And this was meant to cost 1.5 million, a full class. But they have used a wall for another class done by the ministry. But still they will pay the same amount, or they are paid the same amount, 1.5 million. So 2 questions. Why 1.5, yet another class, the same type, and probably better, has been done by at 800,000 shillings. And still someone has made profit. Number 2, how are you accounting for the wall that you have used? Because you're not spending money on it. How much do you want to eat, good people? How much? Pesa itoshangi. But don't steal from the public. Vibaya. It is wrong. It is immoral. We will not trust you with money going forward. As we advance, the people of Kitutu Chache South Constituency want a list of all projects claimed to have been done, together with the project's costs. That is, what was spent. We must be accountable. And this is a fact and something enshrined in the Constitution of Kenya and in the law. We cannot keep on this way. The Kera roads are a mess. Someone might say, oh, we do not have this money, but there's an allocation and you have control. You have a whole committee. An example is, and this could be spread throughout the constituency. Ania Road is said to have been done, but hakuna. If it wasn't for something that arose that was touching on an area MCA, haingeongelelewa. It is not right, good people. I'm talking about a few examples like the Ria Bineri, Oroboti, and Kyogro Road. It was indicated that imefanywa, but it's not done. Imagine how much money? Over 1.6 million. Corruption, very stinking levels. Other such roads are like the St. Barabara road that goes to Riamanoti, and there is the Omogumo road. Those roads are being indicated as having been done, but they've not been touched for the past 2 years. So when were they done? So while we cannot account for 3.6 million on roads like the ones I talked about, St. Barbara to Riamanoti and Omogumo. About 3.6 million. Ilienda wapi? The roads have not been done. They've not been touched for the past 2 years. It is not possible to continue that way. The roads are in very poor state. People have been complaining to me. I have visited some of these roads. The intent is to divert funds, which they have been successful. We call upon the investigative agencies to go down and check these particular issues. The roads that have had substandard works before include, but are not limited to, the ones Nyakoya Nyagisai Marani Road, Nyatiekonya Bundo Road, Gesarara Kyogori Abineri Road, Nyakoya Matongo Road, Tokvila Birenge Kayaba Road, Moso Choma Tieko Road, among many other roads. I've tried to touch at least one in every ward out of my 5 wards: Bogusero, Bogeka, Nyakoya, Nyatieko, and Central Ward. I've tried to touch on each, but they are widespread. Actually, hata zile zimefanya, even those that have been done, they are substandard. Barabara imetengenezwa hivi, like a tongue, ulimi, kidogo, and very poor quality mara. It is not possible. The CDF allocation has been below average usage, whereas it appears that there are many beneficiaries of the CDF bursary allocations. Some funds are transferred with fictitious names, various institutions, and management of the institutions uses the back door to give back the money in cash to the office bearers. This is why most of these funds are not being receipted. And I dare mention one of these that is, an institution of interest is Nyankanda Secondary School. And I'll call upon the ESCC and the DCI to descend on this particular institution and find out what has been happening. Sometimes our kids are forced into this school. Mtoto hataki, but they are being pushed, and because they have no choices, they have to take that. There have been cases of mixed priorities. Several schools have issues with their fundamental hygiene facilities. Recently, we talked about the Nyakyogiro Secondary School, primary school rather, for having the worst pit latrines, because they don't qualify to be called lavatories or abolition blocks, because no water, no the sinks or basins, hand washing basins. So why would you call them abolition blocks? Why would you call them lavatories? Very big words. Why? They're just pit latrines. And those that have been done actually are very squeezed. You cannot even squat properly. I dare say that kwa huruma ya Mwenyezi Mungu, even the physically challenged children cannot use this pit latrine. Good people. No, this cannot happen.